Welcome back from the break. The Blue Room Theatre has been the home of independent theatre here in WA for almost 30 years. Cara Perrin went behind the scenes of their latest show, Miss Westralia, and here's what happened.
I'm so excited to be at the Blue Room Theatre because behind these doors they are practicing for the brand new musical Miss Westralia. I am getting a very rare glimpse and behind the scenes view. I'm so excited. This is such a rare opportunity and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going on. I'm here with Amelia, one of the co-producers of Miss Westralia. I got it that time.
Totally. It's a bit of a mouthful, we've discovered.
I did manage at that time. So tell me about Miss Westralia.
Sure. So Miss Westralia is a show that's based on Beryl Mills, who was the first Miss Australia, and she was from Geraldton in WA. And she won the competition in 1926. And the part of her winnings was a promotional tour to America. And it's about how she basically, I'll say, falls out of love with being a celebrity, but, you know, also manages that responsibility of being an ambassador.
You've snuck us into the theatre. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Yeah.
We had to see where, you know, the show was actually going to take place. Now, I can imagine a lot of preparation and rehearsal and time would have to go into putting this sort of production together. So what happens behind the scenes?
Yeah, okay. So after the script and the music and lyrics have been written, you do the casting process. Once that's happened, you can start rehearsals. So we have had a really short rehearsal period of 4 weeks. And yeah, basically what happens is the director comes into the room. With a musical, you also have a musical director. So the cast learns the music with that person, who's Chris Milbourne, in actors up in the space, and you're helping them basically craft what's on the page, on the stage for the audience.
So this is an iconic, you know, role that someone is going to have to play. It's the first Miss Australia. How did you go about finding the perfect person to play that role?
It was a tough job. There were lots of really, really talented women that came and auditioned, and I think, you know, it was about finding someone who could play that journey of starting out, you know, being totally new and basically the dark horse of the competition, to being someone who you know had great stature and maturity and independence. And so yeah, and we did find that in Helena Selak, who plays Beryl. And yeah, it was just a process of trying to, you know, work with people to find those qualities. But also, of course, being a musical, you need some great singing and dancing ability. And okay, cool.
So, Helena, you're playing Beryl. You're actually Miss Westralia. So a bit of preparation must go into, you know, getting, I guess, yourself in the right mindset to be the beauty queen, the first Miss Australia. What do you do for that?
Well, preparing for Beryl is a little bit different because she was actually a country girl. So for me, it was finding a lot of the strength, but then incorporating a lot of my dance training to find the beauty pageant sort of stature with her Geraldton upbringing.
Now, you must have a really amazing beauty queen walk. I would love for you to teach me how to walk like a beauty queen.
Okay. So, first of all, you have to cross your feet in front of each other.
Oh, okay. We're getting technical here.
One, and then press through the front, and then you can add a little bit of a hip.
Oh, and a hip. Okay. And do I have like a wave like the Queen?
Yeah.
When I win? I'm Cara Perrin, reporting for Undercurrent.
A current exhibition at Heathcote Cultural Precinct shows a variety of pottery works by skilled artists, and as Tony ETC found out, they are pledging that the craft of ceramics is once again on the rise.
The practice of working with clay as an art form has largely been removed from schools and universities across Western Australia, hereby causing a decline in production of ceramic artworks. The Ceramic Arts Association holds an exhibition every 2 years, and its current exhibition is on here at the Heathcote Cultural precinct. The exhibition pieces were formally judged, and I was there to witness the latest in clay designs. Let's have a look at what the professionals got for us.
For many, it's perhaps the first time that they've been encouraged to get wet and dirty in a studio environment, and there is an instinctive and uplifting response to the freedom that is felt.
Sometimes we're a hidden gem, and the Kawa Selective Exhibition 2019, and we're at Heathcote Cultural Precinct at the Gallery, which is a great place to be.
Now for the awards. The first highly commended award is for Philippa Gordon. The second highly commended goes to Felicity Bodycoat. The third highly commended goes to Victoria Malone. Judge's choice. My choice goes to Judith Paisley for Dream Catcher. Okay, the final one, and we are talking about glazes, goes to Rita Brooks for Flora and Fauna.
Oh, I've always loved art, but one day walking through the wineries that were supporting the arts, there was a potter tucked away in the corner, weaving her magic on a wheel, and I just fell in love with working with the hands and the clay on the wheel. I think for anyone to exhibit their work is just to let people see what you're doing and what different things you can be producing in Australia using Australian products. And I like to work with the Pilbara series, which is working with ochres, red ochre. I concentrate on alternative firing, and that's pit firing, naked raku, and that's all done outside with a naked flame.
This is part of my exploration of the textures in the Australian land, and specifically in the Western Australian desert country. It's quite a non-standard technique. I've actually cast these panels using very thick slip mixed with a material called perlite, and the texture on the surface is all put in just with my bare hands, because I really believe that the land is shaped by the actions of the people on it. It also goes the other way. The land shapes the people who live on it.
I have my own little studio at home, and it's very small, and it's just for me, and it's terrific. It's slip cast porcelain, so it's only glazed with clear glaze on the inside, and then it's decorated with underglaze and decal on the outside.
It's been sad to know that a lot of the art institutions have let go ceramic departments and glass departments in their areas. We have some of the most important Australian ceramicists, potters, who are known internationally and nationally.
There's a resurgence at the moment. People are going back to the crafts, and pottery groups in Perth and all of Western Australia are growing hugely. It's really lovely to see that cycle happening again. The other thing is a lot of people who make pots actually usually like to eat, and so it's that connection between the vessel and eating. There's just every style here, from figurative to decorative to functional.
I believe that few art mediums kindle growth and skills in the way that clay does. The experience of working with clay is for the sensory development, motor skills, self-esteem and self-expression, problem solving, discipline and pride. Clay also has a uniquely therapeutic quality that can settle and calm a person. It retains one's attention for hours and is very forgiving. The sensory experiences encountered in the pottery studio are numerous. The experience of texture and feel of the clay. It's cold, it's wet, it's squishy, and it's so heavy. Clay asks to be poked, pinched, twisted, rolled, and there is an instinctive and uplifting response to the freedom that is felt.
Well, I just hope that everyone comes to see it, because it's a really good chance to catch up with, to see what's going on in the ceramic world. I would just love everyone to come and see the exhibition and maybe be inspired to do something themselves.
The amazing and perfectly made clay designs astonished me a lot, and I was fascinated with what I saw. It's Tony ETC for Undercurrent.
For our last story this week, Talha speaks with taxi drivers about the 10% levy that has recently been applied to taxi fares and the protests that were held this week.
Taxi drivers in Australia are facing very hard time at the moment. They are saying that Uber is operating illegal in Australia and that's why they are not earning good money and taxi business is going very low. Let's ask people what they say about the levy system and what the problems they are facing in the society at the moment. Last week, taxi drivers are protesting in the city. Why they are protesting?
They protesting economical. We lose the economic. Actually, lasted 2 months, 3 months, and since one day started Uber, we lose the income. We reduce the price for the taxi. For example, 17%, and then 10% levy. We accepted that, but we would like to protest yesterday, allow it to the other states where they pay, we would like to pay one fare, $1, but not the 10%. When you drop, he can see the $3 airport booming gate plus the levy, and he said, where they come from for that money? And you get argument for the trouble. Then you explain it. And then customer is not happy. We lose the income for us, ourselves. They cut it for us, 17%. They don't pay that, the customer. We pay ourselves.
Taxi drivers are protesting in Perth. Why is that?
The taxi drivers were protesting last week because of the simple reason of the levy. Now, the taxi drivers are fed up with the costs going up when they're trying to reduce them. Now, one company, I'm not going to mention their name, reduced their fare and had to raise it back up because of the levy. So how can the competition, and it's not fair on the public because they have to pay the 10%. That's the true story about the rallies.
Hello, how are you, buddy?
Are you buddy? Okay, taxis are protesting against Uber or against levy. What do you say about that?
Well, really, it's rip off. It's because what happened is every other states they take dollar levy, but here they're asking too much, $10, 10%. No, they don't listen because they milking it, so they don't want to listen to us.
I just want to say this government doesn't take about taxi drivers. They turn out back on us, and this is basically taxpayers paying the money. The government should be paying an Uber company, so this is so unfair.
And it's a different for the gas, petrol, and a hybrid, an electric car. This is the diesel.
The cost of running the taxis is too great. Reduce the cost of running the taxis, you can reduce the cost of the fare. But these guys come out here, they slave here all night and don't make any money because of the costs of the fact. Now the insurance on these are greater than an Uber car.
The government, they get the decision already 10% levy. But we ask here, we require the government one fare, $1. That's, a week, if you make, we pay a week for 250, 280, more than that income we pay. A month is 800 something. And that's too big money. Then we lose. We can't make that money at all. Car every night, about $50 gas. 13,000 extension, service a year. Because it's a different. 120,000, only the car I pay, this car.
But we don't have the public support. If we had the public support, we would be happy to go again. Now, what I suggest to the public, if they reckon 10% is too low or too high, complain to your local member of parliament.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's me, Talha Javed, Undercurrent, WTV, Perth.
Well, that's all we've got time for this week's episode of Undercurrent. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next week with more Perth stories. We'll see you then.